Oh, guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended. In this video, I'm going to tell you if it's actually worth it to buy Bob's Tall Tales. Now, I'm going to give you all the information that I have, what you get, what it changes, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, you got to make the decision on your own, but I'll kind of give you my opinions on that. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the easy thing, right? So Bob's Tall Tales came out on Scorched Earth. You can see Scorched Earth. This is it right here. What I can tell you off the bat immediately, the graphics for Scorched Earth are amazing, right? Like, it looks really pretty. It's well done. This map, unlike the island when it was released, seems to function almost flawlessly as long as you have some decent stuff inside of your machine. Now, if you're running on an Xbox or a PlayStation, I've also heard that there's a little bit of a problem on it, but there's a few settings that you can change in order to make it run basically flawlessly. So for Scorched Earth, right? Bob's Tall Tales was released with the intention to kind of embellish or make it a little bit better without necessarily being game breaking. And I can tell you for a fact that it does just that, because it adds a whole bunch of skins and items like you see me wearing on my character right now that actually don't break the game. They just make things a little bit easier in some ways, if that makes sense. So here's what it gives you straight off the bat, right? So these are the skins that actually exist, and I've used just about every item in here extensively to figure out what it's good at, what it's not good at, and I'll talk about all that in a second. But all the skins, super cool, right? The things that would, like, I would say that $40 might be a bit much, but it's almost exclusively worth it for these two things right here. The shovel is something that allows you to actually dig up treasure that you get from killing wild creatures, and it's a rare drop. Like 5% of the time they'll drop a treasure map, and in order to get it you have to have a shovel. So it's a little bit pay to win in that regard, because you can get some really good loot out of it, but having a shovel, super effective there. Now the next thing, a coffin, super cool. Doesn't seem super convenient, but it's essentially a placeable thing, just like a sleeping bag is, that you can place down anywhere, and it functions like a bed instead of having to place it on a foundation, which is a huge advantage. People don't realize that quite yet. Now, treasure chests, super cool. It's essentially a storage box that you can hide under the ground and nobody but you can see. So you can essentially hide some loot inside of something if you're getting raided, and it helps a freaking ton. So also platform carts. This is more of a PvE thing, but it adds 25 armor to your creatures, and it serves as like a little thing where you can use a grind pad, for less of a better way of saying it. Barrel storage allows you to store wyvern milk for way longer. It's like 20 or 30 times more, if not more than that. Poker table, I haven't really tried it yet because, you know, I would require having friends. Bad joke. Plant pot is something that's basically only useful because it allows you to feed the actual oasisaur, which is one of the creatures. So the oasisaur is basically a creature that is part of the battle pass for this. Otherwise you can't tame it without these, keep it alive without the plant pots. Now also, this is cool, not really useful. This right here, right? I would argue that if you're someone that's like me and enjoys just building on your solo player games and just hanging out and stuff like that, this alone makes the game, makes the Bob's thing worth it, because the train engine by itself allows you to build some really cool tracks, some really cool things, and it allows you to do some really just fantastic builds that I didn't think that I would enjoy doing, if you want me to be completely honest. I'm gonna go ahead and go, I think I have a base up here somewhere. Yep. You can build these massive train tracks that go across all over the place and use the trains in order to literally automatically transport things around. And I think that is the coolest thing in the entire world, because not only that, but I can sit on this thing, put whatever I need to, get some carts going on behind me, put the structures that I want to put on them, transport things, and it's basically automatic because I can just hit that button and I can walk all over the front of this train. I think it is so cool, beyond cool, that I can do that. Now, obviously, I'm just sitting here enjoying myself a little bit of a ride. It's a little bit slow, I will admit that, but it's really cool. So this being added in with the actual oasisaur kind of gives you some really unique items that kind of make Bob's Tall Tales basically worth it in themselves. And let's not even get into the fact that, so they added these cool things, right? This is not it though. So this is just Scorched Earth. There's Bob's Tall Tales isn't just the one DLC. You get a DLC over on Aberration, and you also get a DLC over on Extinction, which will be released, I think it's Q3 this year, and then Q1 next year, was what they said inside of their latest post. So you essentially get 3 different DLC bonus packs for one. Now, yes, I do understand it is $40. It is pretty hefty up front, but if you plan on playing Ark, or you're someone that's played Ark for a long time and you still plan on playing Ark, then it's probably honestly worth it. But if you don't play Ark that often, then I would probably argue, is it really worth it if you only play every now and then? I play pretty much nonstop. Even if I'm playing other games, I'm still playing Ark in some way, shape, or form. So for me personally, it's definitely worth it, because adding in things like these just change the meta of my style of Ark, and it makes a big difference to me. Now, again, I'm very specific when I say to me, right? Because that's an important delineation. I think delineation is the right word there, to be able to say, if you play Ark a bunch, you'll love Bob's Tall Tales. If you don't play Ark all that much and you're just looking at it kind of like, oh, this would be fun to have. I mean, it might be fun to have, but I would argue is it maybe not worth it, because you probably, if you don't play Ark that much, you probably haven't done all of the bosses. You probably haven't done all of the stuff. You probably haven't tamed all of the tames. You probably haven't like created these massive houses just because you like how they look. You probably haven't done many of the mini maps, if you want to call them that. A lot of DLC, a lot of mods. Bob's pack is really meant for people that play a ton of Ark, and it's meant to embellish the already existing components of the game. So this Oasis-oar, right? This is the only creature that Bob's Tall Tales makes it so you can have, essentially, that someone else couldn't have. But it's a weird thing, because if they're in your tribe, you can use it, but you can't tame it. Sometimes, kind of. I don't really know how it works, but you know, whatever. That's not the point. You can't keep it alive. So basically, this guy's the only thing that's kind of like unique. And is he that great? No, he's not that great. But he's got one really awesome thing where if you put some crop plots down on its back, it will auto, just so you can see, it auto fertilizes, auto irrigates, auto greenhouse effects, and then it allows you to increase the growth and yield, basically making it so it's a talking, not talking greenhouse. And that's pretty cool. Adding something like that, again, it changes the meta a little bit, which is huge. So, I mean, that's why I like it, at least. So yeah, you could definitely argue that this thing is a little bit overpowered in that regard, but is it broken? No. People are arguing against Bob's Tall Tales because they're like, oh, it's pay to win. It's not really pay to win. It's pay to get more stuff for PvE, basically. Because people that are saying, oh, this is PvP stuff, this guy takes 1,000 damage per shot. And this is 22,000 health, Avi, or 22,000 level. You can only get him in the wild at level 1. And they take 1,000 damage a shot from a turret. They are not worth it in PvP. All the things that I have added, basically, all PvE. None of it really is meant or catered towards the PvP crowd. I'm sure some people will find some glitches and some broken things, i.e. me, you know, some things that you can use it for. But for the most part, everything inside of Bob's Tall Tales is useful for a PvE purpose, and it's more for enjoying the game on a solo player or enjoying it from a PvE perspective than it is for actually enjoying it from a PvP perspective. Now, they do a good job as well of actually keeping the, you can see me doing it right now, right? Like if I jump, I'm not losing, I'm staying with the train. Huge. That's huge. The physics of that is awesome. Anyways, I'm beside the point on that one. So what I would argue, right, all these things that I've just said, I'm trying to sum it up as simple as I can. If you are a fan of playing Ark solo or playing on unofficials where PvP is not your focus, I will tell you that Bob's Tall Tales is probably worth your investment, because you're probably playing Ark a bunch. You've probably got massive bases. You've probably got all kinds of things that change the meta of Ark, and your meta of Ark is what I should say, because adding something like this will give you some small things that are going to make you smile, like making these train tracks and having your favorite dinos ride on it. To me, that's one of those things I'm like, okay, that's almost worth it alone. Now, if you're someone that is not playing Ark for the PvE perspective and you're only aiming for a PvP purpose, Bob's Tall Tales, probably not your favorite. probably not something you need either, in all honesty, because nothing in this is so broken that you need it for PvP that you can't get from a tribe mate. But for people that play Ark a ton, yes, Bob's Tall Tales is going to be worth it. For people that don't play Ark a ton, I would argue that you probably don't need Bob's Tall Tales. That's my recommendation. But again, you need to do you. At the end of the day, I can give you a recommendation. You got to do you. But I'll sit here on my train and enjoy myself. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you out. If you don't mind, smash that like button. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think, if you agree, if you disagree, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, teach.